Hello and welcome to MSE 402, Engineering Project Management. My name is Dale Deerdorf and I'm your facilitator and instructor for the session, and what I wanted to do was to give you a video introduction, kind of a large course overview to show you what's going to be on for the next 6 modules or 6 weeks. So the first thing you need to remember is that this course is only a 6 module course, not the 8 module course traditional with the other courses that you've had up to this point. So there's a couple characteristics you're going to see, a couple different things that are going to be a little bit different. One of them is it's going to seem like we're going to cover a lot of material in a short period of time. That part is true. It is all achievable. You're going to have a great time in this particular course. We've invested a lot of time and effort in putting together what I think is probably one of the most comprehensive project management introduction / advanced, I'll call it course modules for students. I think that you're going to find, whether you're a novice coming in with little experience in project management or a seasoned professional who's been working in project management for a considerable period of time, there's going to be a tremendous amount of material that you're going to learn. A lot of things that you didn't really recognize before that you're going to get exposed to, and these are going to make your experience in engineering project management probably one of the most valuable courses that you will have in your academic career. Now, let's go ahead and walk you through the next 6 modules just so that you've got a good chance to understand what's going on. So let's walk from my picture over to the weekly recorded lectures. Each week there will be a recorded lecture in place, and you'll get an opportunity to kind of walk through what I'll call the different project stages. So we've identified for you and created a model of 6 project management stages for you. They mirror and mimic part of what you're going to get out of the PMBOK, the Project Management Book of Knowledge from PMI, but what we've done is we've consolidated it down into a real perspective of what happens in a project as you're moving through it, and you'll get a chance to see that and a flavor of that as we move forward. The next piece over is going to be the weekly Zoom live lectures. Each week I will have a live lecture for you that I will run on a Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. At that point, we will walk through material that I've created for you on the subjects that I've identified here, and then what we'll do is we'll, in addition to that, open the floor up to talk about what you're experiencing in the course material as we go through the material week by week. Now, the next piece over are the weekly threaded discussions or discussion activities. Those discussion activities you'll have are going to mirror 2 different areas. One is going to be the textbook area that you're moving through and understanding the material in for both the PMBOK and the Project Management Book of the Managerial Process, your 2 textbooks. In addition to that, you will be exposed to Microsoft projects. So we have all 3 of these areas that we're going to pull at, in addition to your ECS, Energy Creative Solutions course project. So you'll have questions and dialogue associated with all of these different areas, and it will be timely for you. So as you're going through the introduction stage of a project, the type of dialogue and discussions that we will have for you will be based on that, and they will thread themselves all the way through so that everybody will get a chance to really get a clear understanding of what's going on. Let's go ahead and drop down one more level now. You'll be able to see the weekly textbook. I've identified 2 textbooks for you. One is the PMBOK, and it's version 6 of the Project Management Book of Knowledge. It's PMI's latest version that's come out. It's the one, if you're going to sit for the PMP or any of the project management type of exams, this would be the book that would be required. This particular course will provide you PM credit also. So if you're looking to get PM credit, this is one of those areas where you've got additional training that you can claim credit for. Also, the McGraw-Hill book on project management, the managerial process, the Larson and Gray book. This is the 7th edition of this particular book, and I've worked with all 7 editions. I can tell you that this one is probably the most concise. It's just as clear as any of the others, and you're going to thoroughly enjoy this, the case studies that are involved, and the material we're going to cover. Now, right below the center of the screen at the lower end of the I'll call it the video, you're going to see Energy Creative Solutions, the course project. We have designed for you another simulation. That simulation is a virtual simulation for a company up in Seattle. That company is called ECS, Energy Creative Solutions. And what they do is they take waste products from one of, say, 25 different types of materials, and they create energy out of those. Advanced energy in certain situations. It can be used in a lot of different ways. And we've got a project management office at ECS that's going to be working with you. And we'll go through that in a little bit later detail. What I want you to do is I want you to understand that for the next 6 modules, you're going to be functioning as a project team. You'll be put together in a project team environment. Each week, one of you will be the project leader, the project manager. You're going to be responsible for the team's performance for that particular week. In addition to that, there will be live interaction that will come to you from the ECS PMO. That PMO will give you challenges. Uncertainty is going to be probably the biggest thing that you're going to see throughout this module. From an engineering project management standpoint, one of the things that happens is that change happens on a weekly basis. Whatever the plan you created was, you need to adjust to what's happening, and we're going to provide that environment for you. It's not going to be constant chaos, but it is going to be valuable changes to things that are happening to you in your project team. So the first week, what we're going to ask you to do is select a project that you want to work on for the ECS company. We will give you a proposal. We will give you a list of 25 companies that you can select from. You will then fill information out, giving us a clear understanding of which project you want to work on for the next 6 modules. In addition to that, you'll put together a project charter, and then week by week you will move through building that project. The next module, when we get into module 2, the initiation of a project, you'll put together a project charter. The following one will be the planning stage. That'll be scope and WBS. That'll be where you actually put some meat on the bone for yourself for what your project's going to look like, what the components of it are. Then we're going to go into the next module, which is going to be executing. In execution, you're going to be doing a risk management plan. You're going to be doing a communication plan. There's going to be a variety of things that will be thrown at you. So that Microsoft project plan that you're going to put together in the beginning, you will load a manual version up and you will put it into Microsoft Project. And that project plan will follow you all the way through to the end of the Module 6 environment. Project 5, or Module 5, is going to be project monitoring and controlling phases. We're going to have things for you there that you will have to fill out all the way up into project closing, which will be the last module. At that module, you will be putting together best practices, lessons learned, and a project report, a summary report for you that is going to capture all of the components that you have worked on throughout the week. And then in addition to that, you have a PowerPoint that you'll be responsible for putting together for a presentation on that final Wednesday. So that Wednesday night, in addition to the live lecture, one of the things we're going to do is each team is going to outbrief a presentation. So you'll have an opportunity to pitch exactly what your team experienced. And we're going to walk Microsoft Project all the way through the front end of identifying what the project looks like, creating the scope, loading it into a WBS, all the way down into having you resource load, cost load against it, run earned value metrics against it, and then give us an understanding at the end of Module 6 as to how strong your project was. SPI, CPI, these are new terms. If you haven't heard them, that you're going to get exposed to, and we'll look for what kind of performance that your team has been able to conduct. Now, you will have individual assignments. In week 1, the individual assignment you have is going to be putting together a skills resume for the rest of your team members. So you will actually go in, I've got a template set up for you. You will fill out the skill-based information that's required for this particular project, and then you're going to share that with the other members of your team. Everybody will be functioning in a team environment. You'll have 5 to 7 people per team. If If something happens and your team drops below a certain number, I may merge those, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Now, the other thing that you have to do is on a weekly basis, there will be a leadership report, an engineering leadership report that whoever the leader was will be responsible for putting out. So that's another individual project or individual assignment. And then finally in week 8, you're responsible for putting out a peer review. That peer review is going to be an evaluation of your other team members. Not you, but your other team members. Now that is a 10,000-foot view really rapidly at what we're going to be covering. Now the model that I talked about that we've designed for you is this model that I'm showing you here, and you can see the different phases that you're going to walk through. So module 1 will be the introduction phase. Module 2, the initiation phase. Module 3, the planning phase. Module 4, monitoring and controlling a project. Module 5, executing. Module 6, closing. And you can see that we've identified the knowledge areas or the tasks that are required to be completed in each one of these areas. Some of you may say that, well, in the past, we've always done best practices at the end of a project. Why would you have it at the front end of a project? Well, the reason that we have it is we want you to go look for potential best practices that could have been provided to you. So there's a philosophy and a flow here. You're also going to see that monitoring and controlling encompasses everything from the initiating phase all the way through closing. So these are interconnected and they flow within each other. It isn't like once you're done with the introduction or the initiation phase, you would never go back to that, because there may be changes, uncertainty that happens. You may have to create new scope. You may have to create a new baseline. This may impact or ripple through your project as you're moving through it. So this model will be one that you will continue to work through for all 6 modules. Now, in addition to that, as I told you, the PMO from ECS is going to be contacting you. Each module, you will have a message that comes in along with, I'll call it 2 different sides of an opportunity or uncertainty. You're going to have a challenge that's provided to you, information from the ECS mother company, the PMO, and the PMO is a project management office. So I will be interacting as your PMO representative. You will get videos from me on a weekly basis along with a series of questions. Something will have happened at the ECS company on your project as we're moving through this on a weekly basis, and your company / your team will be responsible for providing us input as to how you want to move forward. There are different directions you can go. You actually drive the performance and the direction as to where you want to end up. Now, the final thing from a go-away standpoint would be, I want you to understand that engineering project management is a skill that is learnable. It is a set of knowledge areas that you can become not only better at, but extremely proficient in. And I think they will gain you extremely good skills in the overall view of what you're trying to do from an academic or from a professional standpoint. So once again, we've got 6 fun modules lined up for you based on project management. You're going to fully understand what project management means in an engineering environment by the time we're finished with module 6. Let's go ahead and get ready to get started with module 1. I look forward to talking to you and working with you every week as we continue to move forward, bringing you and your project for ECS forward in a positive direction. Have a great week. Goodbye.